Hi folks, it's Yvonne with Grandma Means Business. So what is the big secret? Do you know? Do you already know? I have finally decided to start reading the book The Secret. Have you read that? I have not. I have it here. I have the, oops, that's backwards. Let me switch that around. The wrench and side to side. There you go. Now you can read it. The Secret. Have you read this? It's not a big book. It's a little book, but it is full of some great information. So I'm finally reading it, and The Secret, I wouldn't read it for a long time. I've got the movie. I did watch that. I've, read a lot of what people had to say about it, and it was, I don't know. I always felt like it was kind of voodoo-ish. And that's probably because of the music that they have on the movie. Have you listened to the movie? They make the music is kind of ooh, and I was like, I don't know. So I didn't pay any attention to it, but I'm finally starting to read it now because it's been recommended to me by a few different people, and it is pretty interesting. I think it's pretty fascinating, and I would highly recommend it. So I wanted to start out with a little bit of intro to it, and I could probably do a few more lives about the book and what I'm learning from it, and I would challenge you to listen to what they're talking about. So, The Secret, as Rhonda Byrne, she's the one who wrote the book, discovered, is a law of nature, like the law of gravity. It works every time, for everyone, everywhere, no matter where you are. It is actually the law. It is a law of nature, and it is called the law of attraction. Okay? Keep listening. The law of attraction. All right, let me read something to you from page 4 here, if you have your own book. Here it is. The secret is the law of attraction. Everything that's coming into your life, you are attracting into your life. Ouch. And it's attracted to you by virtue of the images you are holding in your mind. It's what you're thinking. Whatever is going on in your mind is what you are attracting to yourself. Now, I challenge you to keep listening, because some of you at this point are probably going, that's ridiculous. This bad thing happened and that bad thing happened, and I did not have anything to do with it. I agree. There are some things that have happened in my life that I totally think that I had nothing to do with it, and I don't understand how there could be a connection. But I have one example of something that is really I don't know, kind of wild, that I'll tell you about a little bit in a couple of minutes. But I challenge you to keep listening. All right. That was Bob Proctor talking when he said that. Now, let me read this. This is Bob Doyle. Basically put, the law of attraction says that like attracts like. But we're really talking about at a level of thought. The law of attraction says that like attracts like. So as you think a thought, you are attracting more thoughts like that to yourself. Like attracts like. All right. So let me tell you a couple of examples that'll maybe help it to start to make a little bit of sense. On the negative side, have you ever started to think about something that you were not happy about, and the more you thought about it, the worse it got? That's because as you think one sustained thought, the law of attraction immediately brings to you more thoughts like that. In a matter of minutes, you've gotten so many unhappy thoughts about this thing coming to you that the situation begins to seem worse than it is. The more you think about it, the more you get upset about it. It's called worry. We've done that, right? You've done that. You worry. You start thinking about it. You're mulling it over in your head, and you're getting more and more thoughts about it. Well, what if this happens, and what if that happens? And it just goes on and on. That's worry. That's attracting more negative thoughts to yourself. Okay? That's the law of attraction. Now, on the positive side, or maybe less negative side, What about a song? Have you ever gotten a song stuck in your head and it just goes over and over and over and over again? Well, it says the song just kept playing over and over in your mind. When you listened to that song, even though you may not have realized it, you gave your full attention and your focus of thought to it. As you did that, you were powerfully attracting more like thoughts of that song. So the law of attraction moved into action and delivered more thoughts of that song over and over and over again. Right? We've all experienced that. So that kind of helped me to understand a little bit how the law of how the law of attraction works, or how it's explained. So what I wanted to tell you that is so that you attract to you what you think about most. So what you think about most is what you attract to you, is what she's saying in this book. Well, what all these people are saying. There's some interesting people in here who are talking about it. So if you understand this law and you believe it, now I'm not saying that it won't work for you if you don't believe it, because believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's going to work for you because it's a law of nature. It's the way things are. It's like the law of gravity. If you step off of the building, you're going to fall, right? No matter, if you believe it or not. But the law of attraction, if you understand it and you believe it, you can use it to make changes. Just think about the law of the people who created airplanes. I know it started with the Wright brothers, but for all the other people who were in that long chain of events, they used the laws that they knew about. They know about the law of gravity and the law of thrust, I guess, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. But anyway, they use those in order to be able to make changes so that they could get an airplane into the sky. Those great big heavy things, it's not possible for them to be able to fly, but they do, right? Because they're using the laws that they know about and they use them to their benefit. So what I'm saying is, if we learn this law, learn the law of attraction, how it works and how to work it, we should be able to use it to make changes in our own lives if you want some. If you're perfectly happy where you are, well, then don't worry about it. Hey, Tony, how are you? Who else is on? Oh, it's scrolled up. I'm sorry. Was that you, Diane? I thought I saw your name real fast. Swoosh by. Understand the law and believe it. You will be able to make changes in your life if you want to. If you're perfectly happy where you are, don't worry about it. You're probably thinking the right thoughts to keep your life where it is. If you're not happy with where you are and you want to make changes, listen in. It might help. All right, let me see. I wanted to tell you a couple more things before I go. Okay, John Assaraf says, here's the problem. Most people are thinking about what they don't want, and they're wondering why it shows up over and over and over again in their life. The only reason why people do not have what they want is because they're thinking more about the things that they don't want than the things that they do want. I did a live, I don't know when, a little while ago, about affirmations and making positive affirmations, and explaining that if you are saying, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to get sick, that's not a positive affirmation. Okay, that's a negative one. You need to change it to make it a positive affirmation, because even though you're saying, I don't want to get sick, what your mind is focusing on, according to this book, is sick. So you're going to get sick, because that's what you're focusing on. So what he's saying is, most people are thinking about what they don't want. Don't think about what you don't want. Think about what you do want, and you will be able to make changes just by thinking about what you do want more than you think about what you don't want. Isn't that cool? I don't know about you, but I love that stuff. Okay, the law of attraction doesn't care whether you perceive something to be good or bad. All it knows is that you're thinking about it and it attracts it to you. The law of attraction is a law of nature. It is impersonal and does not see good or bad things. It simply gives you whatever it is that you're thinking about. I think that stuff is cool. If you're complaining, the law of attraction will powerfully bring into your life more things to complain about. Have you ever noticed that when you're complaining and in a really bad mood and everything's going wrong, everything more seems to be go wrong? That's just the way it is because you're attracting that to you. I get that one. Page 19. I want to tell you something else. 19. You can begin to consciously choose your thoughts. I know somebody's going to argue with me about this one. You can begin to consciously choose your thoughts, and you can change your life by changing your thoughts. But back to this, you can control your thoughts. Now, that being said, I read that scientists say that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, considering that there are 86,400 seconds in a day, that's almost one new thought every second, all day long. That's a lot of thoughts. Are they all conscious? I don't know. They didn't say that. They didn't say whether they were all conscious thoughts. But, hey, Jackie, how are you? But that's a lot of thoughts. But they're saying in here, Rhonda is saying that you can control those thoughts. Okay? We're not going to go into how to do that tonight, but we will be doing that in the near future. So I know if you're going to argue, go ahead, but this is what all these experts are saying. You can't control your thoughts. And I did think about that, and the example that came to my mind was, what about when you're studying something? When you're going to school and you're studying something, you control your thoughts because you have to focus them on what it is that you are trying to learn so that you can pass this test. Even if it's just to get your driver's license, you have to study. So you have to think about what it is that you need to think about in order to get that into your brain so that you can pass the test. So you can control your thoughts when you're trying to study. So how do you do that? Well, you read the book, you read the manual, you talk to other people, you maybe let somebody quiz you, you take a class, maybe you take a driver's ed class, or maybe you take some lessons so you actually practice it. You do things to get your thoughts focused on what it is you need to be thinking about in order for you to learn the material and focus your thoughts and then be able to attract to yourself what it is you're looking for. Your driver's license or passing the test, whatever it may be. So that makes sense to me. But, so I know some people have said to me before, you can't control your thoughts. Your thoughts are your thoughts. They just come and they go. There's nothing. That's not true. That's not true. I would argue now. I don't believe that. Page 22. I want to say just one more thing I wanted to tell you about. All right. Michael Bernard Beckwith says, oftentimes when people begin to understand the great secret, this law of attraction, they suddenly become frightened of all the negative thoughts that they have. Because a lot of people have a lot of negative thoughts and then they think, oh my goodness, if I'm drawing that stuff to me because I'm thinking about all this awful stuff, that's terrible. And then they become more anxious and, draw to themselves more negative things. Okay, he says he wants you to know they need to be aware that it has been scientifically proven that an affirmative thought, a positive thought, is hundreds of times more powerful than a negative thought. Isn't that wonderful? Thank God. So that eliminates a degree of the worry right there, or it should for you, because a little bit of work in focusing your thoughts and getting them turned around into something positive and something that you would like to draw to yourself that's hundreds of times more powerful than any negative thought that you have. I think that's terrific. Jackie, I can't read it. That is a lot of thoughts a day, isn't it? 60,000 thoughts a day. I'm not sure that I'm conscious of all 60,000 of those that I had today. All right. It really does take many negative thoughts and persistent negative thinking to bring something negative into your life. So, okay, it can happen. But he's saying that there are positive, that it's easy to turn that around because the positive thoughts are so much more powerful than the negative thoughts. Okay. I just want to tell you the one example that I told you about earlier that I can see in my life, looking back, of something that I did draw to me by my thoughts. And that is, a lot of you, I don't know if all of you know about my story. When I was 16 years old, I broke my back on the trampoline in high school gym class, doing backflips. Didn't land right, landed wrong, right in the middle of the trampoline. Landed on my shoulders, my feet over my head, and it snapped my back. So that was bad. I mean, I was in the hospital then for 5 months after that. 1 month waiting around to figure out what the doctors wanted to do. Another month after a couple of surgeries, and things went wrong and they gave me the wrong blood type. It was a big disaster. And then 3 months of rehab at Sunnyview Rehab in Schenectady, New York. So did I draw that to myself? Well, looking back, I remember that I was a junior in high school, and this was March 2nd, 1976 is the day that it happened. March 2nd. Funny thing is, my daughter was born 5 years later on that exact day, March 2nd, 1981. I was nervous. But anyway, I was a junior in high school, and I always got good grades. I never had really any trouble with school, but that year I was struggling just a little bit to keep up with some of the things. I know I was taking trigonometry, and it was confusing me a bit, and I didn't like that. I liked being in control of the situation, knowing what was going on, and I was struggling just a little bit, and well, more than a little bit, because there were a lot of things going on in my life, of course. You know, a 16-year-old, there's a lot going on, right? And I remember that very day, or the day before, I remember just in my quiet time saying, you know, I really need a break. I really do. I need for something to happen to give me a timeout. How do you do that? Timeout. I need a timeout. And I was really serious, and I was talking to God when I said it. And the next day, it happened. And I got a timeout. I got a lengthy timeout, and it wasn't all a bad thing. Now looking back on it, it was pretty awful there for a little while, but I met some wonderful people. I ended up meeting my husband, and you know, things turned out okay. But you know, that was a negative thing, though. I would say breaking my back was a negative thing, even though it had some positive things that came out of it. But did I attract that to myself? Looking back, I did. I really did. I really wanted a timeout. I really needed some time. Yeah, that's part of my story, Jackie. A lot of people listening already know that, but some of my, you know, business friends don't all know that story. But yeah, I can totally see how I attracted that to myself. All right, so guys, that's what the secret is. It is the law of attraction. I told you a little bit about it today. I'm going to be, for sure, continuing with this line of thought, talk, and teaching in my lives, and we'll hopefully get into how to do it and what to do, and hopefully we'll be able to make some changes if you want them in your life. All right, guys, that's it for tonight's live. I will see you the next time. Have a great night. If I can figure out how to turn it off. I can't do it. How do I get out of here? I'm in the wrench so that I could turn the seam back around. Well, okay, I managed to do that. How do I get rid of it?